AITA because I will not watch anything more complicated than a Hallmark movie with my wife. I love my wife. She is intelligent and sweet. Also, she is beautiful inside and out. She teaches high school English and social studies. She loves novels and usually has several on the go. However, she cannot follow the plot of a movie to save her life. Unless it is about a big city lawyer visiting her hometown to shut down the local factory, but instead reconnecting with her high school boyfriend who is also the local baker and mayor. I've known this about her for years and I have accepted it. I just like vegging with her, so I am happy to see white people rediscovering the magic of Christmas. Or whatever. When we were dating, we watched The Matrix. The questions she asked had me wondering about her. Ditto for anything complex. Even The Usual Suspects, where they lay everything out for you, she didn't get the ending. We had her sister and brother-in-law over for a couple's night on Friday. We made supper and the plan was to watch a movie. His sister wanted to watch Shutter Island. I will not spoil it, but the movie has many twists. The ending is awesome. I tried my best to suggest anything else. The new Laura Dern movie where she bangs the kid from Hunger Games. They all ganged up on me and said we were watching Shutter Island. My wife proceeded to embarrass herself by not understanding the ending and asking questions that were not great. Her sister and her husband were looking at my wife like she was Simple Jack. I tried my best to cover for her or telling her I would explain it later. She got mad at me for not just answering her questions. After they left, she started in me. She said that she noticed that we always watched a certain kind of movie and that she thought I enjoyed them. I said I did because we got to spend time together, and that made me happy. She said that she was not an idiot and that she just didn't concentrate on movies. She recited the plots of several novels to prove her point. I said that I had never commented on her intelligence, and that I was smarter than me. She says that I'm a jerk for not watching movies I enjoy with her. So I agreed and we watched Memento today. I think her head almost exploded from about asking questions. I saw her on Wikipedia reading the plot. AITA for intentionally not watching complicated movies with my wife? Now for the next story. AITA. I quit my employment and won't respond to my boss's email. For context, I started a new job as a caregiver for an adult who has autism. We can call them Alex, 2 weeks ago, and I just quit 2 days ago. I was hired by the mom of Alex. I'd been doing this work for over 2 years and the job I was leaving was with a different person. I left my old job solely because of the hours, not my client. Anyway, I had been at the job for 2 weeks and there were some red flags I was noticing. The first one was that they hired me on the spot, which at first I thought was cool and kind of validating, but then in retrospect I realized that A. They were desperate and B. Hiring on the spot didn't allow me to actually process if this was something I wanted. Anyway, as I was training and onboarding, something just felt super off, especially with the mom. In the beginning I noticed that Alex, very sweet person, would basically dump all of their feelings onto me. The first shift I had was basically 2 hours of me trying to help them process their feelings. That in and of itself was not the deal breaker for me, just a lot to work with. What was the deal breaker was that Alex would talk a lot about their dissatisfaction with their mom and how frustrated they are with their mom. Basically, I realized that I was more than likely going to be put in a position where I would be trying to make Alex happy but also Alex's mom, who both had very different perspectives. Plus, Alex and the mom would constantly be talking shit about the other caregivers, and it just felt like it was a matter of time that I would be on the other end of that. So I decided to trust my intuition and quit. I sent a very respectful email to the mom explaining how I don't feel like it's the right fit, and I think it would be best for me to quit early on before she invests a lot of time into me. I said I was giving a 2 weeks notice. In response to that, she was applaud, basically. She didn't understand where I was coming from and that her child would be devastated. She said she wasn't trying to change my mind, but she just wanted to understand. I was going to respond to that, but then she started blowing up my phone and texting me and sent me another very long email. So I decided to just not respond and not go back. I feel like even though she said she isn't going to try to change my mind, she probably will try, and I don't really feel like me quitting was respected. I feel like she was going to try to guilt trip me. Now she keeps sending me emails. Maybe I'm the asshole for not replying, but most employers don't question me leaving. Especially in this field, it needs to be such a good fit, and sometimes it isn't. It's not personal. I feel bad because I basically ended up ghosting her and putting her in a position where she has no one to cover the hours. Also, maybe I was too quick on quitting and didn't give it a full chance and assumed things about a situation that I don't fully understand. Am I the asshole for basically ghosting my employer? Comment 1. I am a support worker working with a client very similar to Alex. I love this client. They're an absolute blast to work with. The mother is difficult and out of touch. You dodged a bullet. This client isn't super attached to you. After a few shifts, they will move on. Comment 2. A lot of people seem to be missing the part where OP gave 2-week notice and the client's mother responded with a rather guilt-trippy email, then proceeded to blow up the OP's phone before having a chance to respond to the email. Blowing up, for those of you who don't know, is a way to say rapid fire of messages over a short period of time. Basically going from not trying to talk you out of it to gonna harass you until you change your mind behavior in the flip of a switch. OP decided to give 2 weeks after witnessing several red flags. Several of those flags were confirmed while more appeared. I agree. A notice to the mother that the 2 weeks are rescinded is in order, but at this point the OP has to consider her own safety. If I decided to give notice where my work was done in a private residence, and their response was to immediately start harassing me like that, I sure as hell wouldn't feel safe going back to work out my notice. Worth mentioning, I am a strong proponent for giving and fulfilling notice when leaving a job, but personal safety has to be a priority. Send an email as suggested previously. Short and professional. Request they not attempt to contact you any further. Then reach out to your agency or whatever service connected you to them and explain everything that happened. Comment 3. Under the circumstances, that mother was behaving extremely unprofessionally as your employer and TA. You said you were willing to work out 2 weeks' notice. She would have made that 2 weeks an utter constant nightmare. I work with learning disabled people, and boundaries are so important. The whole industry is practically running on fresh air, goodwill, and guilt. From what you are saying, you would have had 2 weeks of hell with both of them crying at you, getting angry, and maybe even have been physically injured if Alex ended up with a meltdown, seems highly likely from the dynamics you describe, and lash out. I would suggest one final email, firmly repeating what you already said, and add an A, that you would have worked the 2 weeks' notice. Unfortunately, from her responses to your resignation, you have changed your mind and do not feel that it would be in Alex's best interests to do so. Don't explain further. B, that your position will not change. The end. Then block her. Make sure you keep anything, in case she decides to go somewhere with allegations. Good luck finding somewhere else. Next story. AITA for snapping at my dad. That family therapy is a waste of time because my stepmom and her kids just point fingers and I'm already 18 and on my way out anyways. My stepmom Sarah's kids do not like me or my dad. But they're more so angry at Sarah because her and their dad aren't together anymore. The issues are here because Sarah lied about the kind of person their dad actually was for most of their lives, so Sarah's kids worship him and blame Sarah for the marriage not working. We all go to family therapy. But the whole thing is a waste of time because Sarah and her kids just point fingers the whole time and aren't receptive to anything the therapist says. My dad forces me to come too, saying I'm also part of the family. But I didn't willingly marry into this mess and I don't want anything to do with it. This week, I said I wanted to stay home because I had a lot of homework, including a huge presentation I had to rehearse for. My dad gave me the usual spiel about 2 hours of therapy a week not getting in the way of anything, and it's to make our family better. I was stressed about the presentation and snapped at my dad that family therapy is a waste of time. Sarah and her kids just want to point fingers, and I don't get why I have to be there because I'm 18 and on my way out anyway. I didn't marry into this family, and don't want any part in their mess. My dad originally grounded me and took away my electronics. Luckily, he gave me my electronics back the same night, but then lectured me about how he was disappointed I could make time to help Sarah and the kids are struggling. You get the whole jazz. I still think there's no reason for me to be there, and me snapping at him was deserved. Comment 1. It's not your mess to fix. I hope this post helps women in Sarah's situation. Don't lie to your kids, don't try to hide the bad things. If the father or mother is trash, I'm sorry, but you have to let them know. I know everyone wants their kids to have both parents, but you don't owe the other parent a relationship with their kids. It's not your responsibility. Obviously, you wouldn't be blunt with them, but you do have to tell them the truth in a way that is age appropriate for them. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. See you in the next one.